The biggest mistakes that prevent forward progress. If you or your team knew ahead of time what the biggest mistakes most leaders make when they're trying to do something important, do you believe it would help them achieve more? Today I'm going to share with you what those mistakes are. Let's dive in. Okay, there are two big mistakes leaders make when they're trying to do something of value. These mistakes either prevent any forward progress or impede the rate at which progress happens. I'm going to unpack each one, and then if you stay with me, I'm going to outline how you can avoid making them. The first mistake leaders make is living in the past. I mean, think about a new process that you've been recently trying to champion at work, and just notice all the naysayers who say things like, "We used to do it this way," or "We tried that once and it didn't work." And then consider for a moment how often your mind and attention is stuck in the past. Are you still replaying certain events that didn't go as planned? Are you reliving past stories about what others did or failed to do? Imagine for a second if we all lived in the past. Imagine if we let negative past experiences inhibit what we do today. Just because the first business you launched didn't go as planned doesn't mean you should give up the dream of being an entrepreneur. Just because the organizational change you recently rolled out wasn't exactly perfect doesn't mean you can't continue to evolve your organization. It doesn't matter what you did or failed to do. The past is the past. We can't live in the past. We can't let the past become a library of excuses for why we can't do something. Instead, we need to learn from the past. The past contains a wealth of information if we put it in the right context. The second big mistake leaders make when they're trying to accomplish something is living in the future. Consider for a moment how often your mind is cluttered with 100 things that you will or may have to do in the future. Are you envisioning scenarios that haven't even happened yet? Are you always trying to get somewhere other than where you are right now? The problem with living in the future is fear. Our mind likes to make up crazy stories about what could potentially happen. Stories that limit our courage to take the next step forward, the step we intellectually know we need to take and want to take, but we don't take it out of fear of what could happen. It's been my experience that many leaders talk themselves out of success. They convince themselves that it's easier to do nothing than risk the potential of what could happen. Can you see how limiting this thought pattern is? Living in the past or in the future will only induce suffering. We can learn from the past and we can prepare for the future, but we must get back to reality of the present. I have a phrase I introduce my clients to, and that is zoom out, zoom in. And I use this for a variety of topics as it forces someone to see the big picture, but not stay there long. Instead, then zoom back into the tactics of today. See, most leaders are physically present, but yet their mind is somewhere else, usually in the past or in the future. It doesn't have to be this way. Regardless of how out of control your day is or how stressful your job or life becomes, the act of being present will change your life. And it's incredibly simple. I know because I used to waste a majority of my precious energy entangled in the past and agonizing about the future. This didn't serve me well. Becoming more present is something I've been actively working on for the last 15 to 20 years. Here's what I learned. You cannot change the past, and the future can only be imagined as better or worse than the present. And when you imagine the future as better or worse, you look forward with either hopeful anticipation, or if you create something worse in your mind, it creates worry, anxiety, and stress. Both scenarios are illusions. As humans, our mind is dominated by problems and anticipated conflict. It unconsciously loves to dwell on a situation mentally, and if not carefully managed, it has the potential to drive you in a frustrating, never-ending circles. If you follow my work, you have heard me say A problem is by itself is not the problem. The problem is how we look at the problem. A situation needs to be either dealt with or accepted. Why make it a problem? Most problems are entirely in our mind. Sure, there are external forces at work. A stressful job, personal demands, daily distractions, a whole bunch of things. But it's how your mind handles those external forces that is the problem. As a leader, I encourage you to practice seeing challenges, situations for what they are, not better or worse than what they are. Resist the temptation to judge what you observe as good or bad. This isn't easy, but it's possible. Our problems can only be dealt with one technique, being present. If you want to explore ways that you can elevate your leadership or develop and retain the leaders on your team, I included a link in the description. Schedule some time on my calendar. I would love to help you and your team champion growth for your business. Okay, if you like what I shared today, do me a favor. Give it a like, right? Make a comment below, right, related to your business, and of course subscribe, because each week I'm sharing content to help you and your team embrace change, focus your efforts, and accelerate results. Remember this, you're just one idea away.